Is commercial real estate investing a good alternative to residential investing when mortgage interest rates are high? So the question we're asking is, let's say you've been investing in residential properties, suddenly the mortgage interest rates skyrocket or go up, or they're higher than what you're used to. It seems like it's knocking out the cash flow a little bit. Should you consider switching to commercial real estate investing? Well, let's answer that. Before I do, make sure that you've hit that like button because you like the content and you're excited to hear it and you're helping me out. And make sure you've also hit that big red subscribe button because I want to make sure you're getting the videos that I put out every single week, because real estate investing is not one conversation all by itself. It's a gazillion conversations. So one video is not going to change everything for you, but if you start getting a lot of them, it might start making some waves. So make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Now, mortgage interest rates are high. Do you switch to commercial? There are, in my mind, two considerations to decide this. Number one, are the interest rates on the commercial loans much different? In some cases, sometimes the residential rates will jump up and the commercial rates are still kind of low. What a great window. Grab that low interest rate. But typically, if you give it enough time, or in a lot of cases, you'll find that the commercial rates are actually not freakishly cheaper than the residential rates. And keep in mind, it's not always the rates themselves. You want to look at the rates, but also the difference in the terms. Commercial loans oftentimes have very different terms. For example, the 30-year fixed mortgage, that is a residential mortgage uniqueness. That is not available in commercial. Commercial loans may suddenly have things like balloon payments, 5-year terms, adjustable, there's all sorts of stuff that it can do. So in a lot of cases, it might be a one-to-one comparison with the rates between residential and commercial. But in some cases, it may be that the rate is a lot lower with commercial, but maybe the terms aren't as advantageous. So make sure you look at both of those when you're asking yourself this question. Can you really get the property that much cheaper than a residential property? In some cases, maybe, absolutely. In other cases, it may be obvious, it may not quite be obvious, but make sure you look at that. That's the first thing you want to ask yourself. The second thing you want to ask yourself when you're trying to decide if you should switch to commercial is, does it fit your investing goals? Because commercial is just a little bit of a different animal. Now, if we're talking about commercial multifamily, say 5 units and above versus residential 4 units and less, between 4 units and 5 units, there's not a lot of logistical differences other than the residential versus commercial classification and financing. But if you're talking about commercial as a whole, typically, in a lot of ways, it's a different animal than residential. So you want to ask yourself, does it still fit your goals? Is it something you're actually interested in? All of this to say, what I don't want you doing is forcing a round peg through a square hole. I don't want you to force yourself into commercial just in an attempt to avoid higher interest rates on the residential mortgages. But the way to look at it really is maybe this is an opportunity for you to consider an advantageous pivot into commercial. It's like the higher interest rates prompted you to consider something that you weren't doing previously. Don't try and get the round peg in the square hole. Do you see the difference there? So first question to ask yourself is, are the loans really cheaper? Are the numbers as good or better or whatever? And then, does it actually fit into your goals like it's something you want to be doing? Now, I get the serious look. I want to say something very seriously here. In order to properly know how to analyze residential and commercial deals both, you have got to understand first how each one is valued. If you do not understand how residential properties are valued versus how commercial properties are valued, don't panic, I have a video. So I'm going to link to a video below that explains that, and why it's so important is it 100% goes into how you actually analyze a deal to make sure you're getting a good deal. But it ties into that question number 2 of, does it fit into your goals? Does it seem like something that is a fit for you? Because you need to treat commercial and residential slightly different in some cases. So, what What is your answer? How do you feel about residential interest rates prompting you potentially to go to commercial? If you've done the residential to commercial journey, I would love to hear about it. If you started with some single families or a duplex and you moved up to like office spaces or self-storage or something of that kind, please leave your story down in the comments. I would love to hear this and hear about your experience. Another last thing that I want to leave you with is this conversation about higher interest rates. Should you stop investing when interest rates do get higher? Well, I'll give you my answer. It's a little spoiler alert because what I really want you to do is go check out this video I'm about to tell you about. But I'm going to tell you my answer is no. You should not stop investing. But what should you do? And what things should you consider when you're trying to make that decision? Because when you really look at this, it might sway whether you're going to consider commercial or not. So I'm linking to a video that I recently recorded down below, and it's 7 considerations and questions you should ask yourself when you're trying to decide, should I stop investing right now because of the conditions? And in this case that we're talking about, high interest rate conditions. So please, please go check out that video below. I'm going to let you look down there. Do you see it? Scroll down. You see the link? Okay. You can either click on it right now, because I'm going to finish this video either way, or you can come back to me, but now you know where that link is. So make sure you click that link, because that video, in my opinion, is where all the power is. But I hope this video was helpful, and it gives you some things to think about if you're thinking of making that commercial switch. So let me know your thoughts and questions down below. Make sure you've hit that like button. I hope you're subscribed to my channel, and if you're not, make sure you do that. So that way I get to talk to you every single week with a new video. All right, talk to you on the next one.